What happens when we don't know ourselves? Surely each of us has been in search of a meaning of life at some point. Those who haven't found a meaning of life are yet to experience happiness, to have energy. If not careful, one may fall into a state of existential vacuum. This emptiness compels a person to search for something to fill the void. Some seek oblivion in alcohol, others in drugs. Some find it in music, in night-long parties, while others look to sensuality to fill the void within. The concept of existential vacuum reflects a phenomenon of our times, not just as a personal unease, but also as a manifestation of society. It makes people feel as though life has lost its meaning, forcing them to seek an escape in various forms. Understanding and finding the meaning of life, knowing one's purpose in life, what we live for, whom we live for, and for some righteous cause, is a spiritual journey that everyone needs to undergo. We cannot simply propose a meaning of life and say, "Here, take this as your reason to live." Part 1. The Journey of Searching. Most of us are on a journey searching for something significant, a place where we can feel at peace and truly happy. This search drives us from one leader to another, from one religious organization to another, from one mentor to another, in hopes of finding what we desire. But are we really searching for happiness, or just a form of temporary satisfaction from which we hope to find happiness? It's essential to understand that there is a clear distinction between happiness and satisfaction. Satisfaction can be easily sought and achieved, but true happiness is a byproduct of pursuing something more profound and meaningful. Therefore, before devoting our minds and souls to any goal that requires attention, reflection, and caution, we need to ask ourselves, what are we really looking for? Is it happiness or just temporary satisfaction? Perhaps the reality is that most of us are seeking satisfaction, a feeling of reaching the peak at the end of our search. The main issue we face is how to be clear about our own goals and intentions. Can we achieve this clarity? It can be realized through the process of exploration, making efforts to listen and understand what others say, from the greatest masters to the ordinary preachers at the corner church. But is it necessary to seek someone else to achieve this? Sadly, we often fall into the trap of seeking salvation through reading a multitude of books, attending meetings and discussions, or even joining various organizations, all in an attempt to find a cure for the conflicts and sufferings in our lives. Alternatively, if we don't do these things, we might convince ourselves that we have found the answer in an organization, a master, or a specific book, believing we have found all we were searching for and choose to hide within it, isolating and limiting ourselves. Part 2. Does eternal satisfaction truly exist? On each person's journey filled with a longing for discovery, we always search for something unchangeable, an eternal essence that we often call truth, God, reality, or any other name. However, the name doesn't really matter because the essence of truth goes far beyond the expressibility of words. We should not get trapped in the maze of words, losing ourselves in what is the job of preachers. Most of us have a common longing for something unchanging, something that makes us feel secure, hopeful, and passionate forever. This stems from a deep need when we feel insecure about ourselves and lack a deep understanding of ourselves, although we may know a lot about facts and recorded events. So, what we are seeking that gives a sense of eternity, could it be happiness, satisfaction, or eternal certainty? We aim to find something that makes us feel completely fulfilled, something that lasts forever. As we peel away the layers of language and look into the essence, we realize this is what we truly long for. We are in search of eternal joy, eternal satisfaction, something we call truth, God, or whatever name you choose. With this longing, we yearn for pleasures. It might sound somewhat crude, but the truth is we seek knowledge to bring joy, experiences that deliver happiness, a lasting satisfaction. Despite experimenting with many ways to satisfy ourselves, those eventually dissipate. At this moment, we hope to find eternal satisfaction in truth, in God, which is the goal everyone, from the intelligent to the not-so-intelligent, from the theoretical to the practical, strives towards. But does eternal satisfaction truly exist? Is there really something immutable? More importantly, as we search for eternal satisfaction, we need to clearly understand what we are looking for. Saying, "I am searching for eternal happiness," means you also need to deeply understand the seeker, which is yourself. There may not be such things as eternal security or eternal happiness. The truth might be entirely different, distinct from anything we can imagine. Hence, before searching for something perpetual, we perhaps need to deeply understand ourselves. Is the seeker truly different from what is being sought? When you say, "I am searching for happiness," is there a seeker distinct from the sought? Could it be that the seeker and their goal are one and the same, inseparable? Therefore, understanding the seeker, meaning oneself, is essential. We need to deeply understand ourselves before we attempt to comprehend what we are searching for. Part 3. Everything becomes meaningless. If we don't understand ourselves. When we embark on a journey of deeply and seriously questioning ourselves, an important question arises. Can peace, happiness, truth, or God, whatever term you choose, be given to us by someone else? Is it possible that our tireless efforts and desires could lead to a profound realization of truth, a state of creative spirit that can only exist when we understand ourselves? Can such self-understanding come from external searches, through following someone else, relying on an organization, reading books, or engaging in other activities? The crux of the matter is, as long as we do not understand ourselves, all our bases for thinking, loving, and acting are unstable. We may seek refuge in illusions, escape from feelings of insecurity, conflict, and contradiction. We may idolize others. We may look for salvation through someone. However, if we remain blind to ourselves, unaware of the whole process taking place within ourselves, then our ways of thinking, loving, and acting remain fundamentally unstable. We often avoid this, understanding ourselves. This is the only foundation upon which we can build our lives. But before we can build, before we can change, before we can criticize or renew ourselves, we need to know who we really are. External pursuits for change, changing teachers, practicing yoga, meditating, performing rituals, or following gurus, all become meaningless if we do not understand ourselves. This is not just meaningless, but even those we follow might advise us that know thyself, because who we are reflects in the world. If we are filled with pettiness, jealousy, superstition, and greed, then we are creating such a world, a society in which we live and interact every day. In my journey of understanding the truth, in the quest for the ultimate purpose of life, or simply before undertaking any action or forming any relationship in society, what I consider most crucial is the need to understand oneself. This urgency does not stem from the desire to achieve a specific goal, but from the profound realization that no change can be made in society, in relationships, or in any work we are doing without understanding oneself. This does not mean that understanding ourselves will lead to resistance or isolating oneself from relationships. On the contrary, it has nothing to do with focusing on the self, the I, or opposing any group or individual. If we lack a deep understanding of ourselves, unaware of how and why we think in certain ways, not fully understanding the origins of our conditions, perspectives, and beliefs about art, religion, nation, community, and self, how can we think sincerely about any issue? Without recognizing our past, without understanding the origins and nature of our thoughts, our search becomes meaningless and our actions lack depth. Whether you are American or Indian, regardless of your nationality or religion, all of these become meaningless if not rooted in a deep understanding of oneself. Conclusion. In conclusion, to grasp the meaning of life and decipher the essence of phenomena around us, from wars and animosities between nations to conflicts and chaos, we must start by understanding ourselves. While seemingly simple, this is immensely challenging. To self-observe and deeply comprehend ourselves, recognizing how our thought processes work, requires exceptional alertness and vigilance. As we become more aware of the complexity and subtlety of our thoughts and emotions, we expand our understanding not only of ourselves, but also of the people around us. Self-understanding is a learning process through interaction, through relationships with others. The challenge here is our often lacking patience. We always want to progress quickly without taking the time to pause, observe, and learn about ourselves. Instead, we spend all our time on work, family, or other obligations to the point where we no longer have time to reflect on ourselves. The truth is, the responsibility for our reactions to life lies with each individual, not with others. Efforts to follow gurus, philosophical systems, or reading new books only become meaningless when we do not truly understand ourselves. You can travel the world, but eventually, you must return and face yourself. And since most of us do not understand ourselves, exploring our own thought, emotion, and action processes becomes incredibly difficult. As we gain more self-knowledge, we attain clarity. This process never ends. There is no stopping point, no final achievement or conclusion. Like a river that flows endlessly, as we delve deeper into ourselves, we find peace. The silence of the mind, not through imposed discipline but through profound self-understanding, allows truth to emerge. Only in that quiet moment can happiness and creativity exist. Without this understanding and experience, reading books, attending talks, or engaging in outreach activities hold little meaning. Conversely, if someone can truly understand themselves, create happiness and creativity, and experience something beyond the mind's capabilities, they can change their direct and intimate relationships with others and thereby change the world we live in.